Hello and welcome to I24 News World Cup show. Following all the news from Brazil, where the group stage is over, the round of 16 begins tomorrow. Every match from now on is do or die. With me in the studio, our football analyst, Uriel Dascal and Yoav Borovic. Hello, gentlemen.
Hi, Jonathan.
16 teams are still with us. 16 are already gone. Let's get started. Group G was one of the most entertaining of the World Cup, with all four teams holding a chance to qualify to the final. On the final match day. A draw was good both for the US and for Germany, and any rumors of a possible fix were quickly put down by the Germans, went on the offensive right from the kickoff and eventually scored through Thomas Müller. He now heads the goal scoring table with 4, along with Leo Messi and Neymar. This result meant Ghana could qualify with a win and Portugal could qualify with a 4-goal win. None of those happened. Portugal won, but only 2-1. Ronaldo finally scored just before boarding the plane back home. It was more dramatic in Group H, where everything was decided in the Russia-Algeria match. A win would send the Russians through. A draw was good for Algeria, and the North African team managed to get the result they needed. And for the first time in their history, they go past the group stage. The host of the next World Cup is already out of this World Cup. They are joined on the way home by South Korea, who only managed a point in this group. Belgium, again, was not impressive, but they get the points. The round of 16 is now all set. This is what the left side of the draw looks like. The Netherlands against Mexico and Greece against Costa Rica. The winners of these games will meet in the quarterfinals. Further down, Argentina against Switzerland, and the US will face Belgium. The winners here will face each other in the next stage. On the right side of the draw, Brazil and Chile will face off. The winner of that match will meet the winner of the Uruguay-Colombia meeting in a South American quarterfinal. 2 more African-European encounters on the side. France takes on Nigeria, and Germany will tackle Algeria. The winners here will play each other in the quarterfinals. Uriel, Germany won 1-0, but they look like a very, very good team, someone that no one would want to meet in the further stages.
Obviously, nobody wants to meet the Germans. I think they're very efficient. They're not taking a lot of shots. They're very smart with the ball. They played in very bad conditions, climate-wise, and they did very well to get the points and get the wins.
And now, Yoav, I want to ask you, looking forward, it may be a France-Germany clash in the quarterfinals. The French are good. Are they good enough to go past Germany?
I think that in a given game they can beat the Germans. I think Germany is better, but we saw even against Ghana, Germany had some difficulties. Let's not forget, Germany, 18 years not winning a big competition. They have all the quality, but sometimes really in the final stages, sometimes it's a bit hard for them. France, for me, they're a surprise. I didn't expect them to be so fluid, so attacking. And so they don't have the German talent, but they can beat them.
Yeah, the Germans had a tougher group than France, and they did really well to go past by.
That was
by
a
them.
very good group G.
Yeah, it was. I think it was the toughest group alongside the England.
Yeah, killing Portugal for nothing, and
I think the Germans right now are in the mental. They have the mental side of things straight out after the Bayern Munich and Dortmund wins in the Champions League. I think they can really go all the way.
And now the other match that was set up is the US against Belgium. The Americans were not impressive yesterday. Still, can they do it?
Yeah, they were not impressive, but they lost only 1-0. I think they can do it for sure. I think Belgium are less impressive than we expected them to be. They're still a better side than the Americans. They have more talent, but we know Jürgen Klinsmann's men's fighting spirit. They're cohesive. They're together. They can almost beat anyone in a given match, and definitely they can beat Belgium. I expect an upset over there.
Very interesting to watch that match. Now, let's get ready for the round of 16 set to begin tomorrow, and the first one will be a world-class meeting. We saw what Chile is capable of doing in the first round, sending world champion Spain home. But how they face the mighty home team, 5-time world champion Brazil with megastar Neymar, that is another story. Mirav Savir gets us ready for the South American clash in Belo Horizonte.
Chile and Brazil will star in the first game of the knockout stage on Saturday. The two national teams have played each other 68 times, and Brazil has the edge. The Seleção beat Chile 48 times, drew 13 and lost only 7 matches, and they've edged them 159 goals to 58. But every game is different, and there's no guarantee that history will repeat itself in Belo Horizonte.
Futebol hoje vem mudando bastante.
I think that football has been changing a lot.
Of course, Brazil has beaten Chile sometimes. Brazil's history is good, but we can't be sure about this now. Each game has its history. I am sure that Chile is very motivated and is very confident of playing a good game against Brazil. We have to prepare ourselves well, and that's what we are doing for this Saturday's game.
Brazil entered the tournament heavy favorites, and the only bump in the road they've had so far is the 0-0 draw against Mexico in their second match of the tournament. Star striker Neymar has shined for Brazil, even with the excess pressure put on him. He leads the team with 4 goals scored. The only other players with 4 goals in the World Cup are Argentina's Leo Messi and Germany's Thomas Müller. And unfortunately for the Chileans, teammate Willian thinks he hasn't even reached his potential for the tournament.
I think he hasn't even started yet. I think that because of Neymar's potential, he could do even more for the national team. We all know his skills. He doesn't play alone, of course. He depends on all of us to help him too. We are here to help him and do what's possible so Neymar can give happiness together with all of us players.
But their South American rival won't give in so easily, and the Chileans know they have a mountain to climb to win versus Brazil. It's a challenge they're more than willing to accept.
We have an historic rival in the World Cup with titles in this competition, and the truth is that we have a tremendous opportunity to put out the hosts, and it will happen only by using our capabilities, play our match well, prepare ourselves in these days that remain in the best possible way.
Chile is entering the knockout stage as the second from Group B, after beating Australia in the opening game and then ensuring Spain go home after a 2-0 win over the reigning champions. Even a loss to the Netherlands didn't seem to bother their fans or the team, who believe they are still learning as a squad.
We 23 are a blend, continuing to grow in progress as players. We know that it will be difficult to find the key, but we're very optimistic.
As the host nation, Brazil has an entire population rooting for it right outside the stadium. But neighbor Chile didn't come empty-handed. Tens of thousands joined them. It's sure to be loud at Estadio Mineirão.
Brazil, as we have seen, holds a big lead in the previous meetings between these two teams, and it also shows in previous World Cup meetings. These two teams met 3 times in the World Cup. The Seleção won all of them 4 years ago in South Africa. It was exactly in the stage. Brazil won 3-0. Same story as 12 years earlier in France. Then Brazil won 4-1 on the way to the final. And in 1962 in Chile, Brazil beat the hosts 4-2 in the semis on the way to their second successive trophy. Uriel, everything seems to show this will be a Brazil victory. We saw the statistics. We know the ability. Can Chile do something to stop it?
I think they can play as well as they played in the first 2 games
against
Spain. I think it's not enough because they don't have the home advantage as they did have in those 2 games. Actually, the 3 games, group stage games, they had a home advantage. Now they're the away side finally. I think they face a massive challenge, an unbelievable faith in their ability, and maybe a tactical innovation that we've never seen will help them beat Brazil.
Chile impressed in the first 2 games, but they looked quite bad in the 3rd game against Scotland. So it's also a momentum thing in this kind of tournament.
But that was not a must-win game, let's remember.
Right. But winning this game would eliminate being against Brazil. Now they're facing Brazil, the home team. Brazil has more talent across the field compared to Chile. I think if we won't see a big Brazil win, I think it will be a surprise.
Now, one problem though for Brazil is they rely on Neymar. He scored 4 goals out of 7. Is that a problem? Let's remember, he's a megastar, but he's only 22.
It's a good thing and it's a problem. It's a good thing because he plays like a world beater. He does whatever he wants.
And he has many World Cups to come.
He's amazing. But it's a problem that Brazil, a team like Brazil, the most legendary football nation in the world, has to rely on one player. We never experienced that in the past. Even in Pelé's time, we didn't experience that, and that's not a good thing.
Yeah, I think he's the only Brazilian, really Brazilian player in Brazil. I mean, you don't see that flair in anyone else. I mean, Oscar and Willian and maybe Bernard are good players, but they don't have that extra.
There's no Zico, Socrates
he's the
anymore.
wizard.
They don't have.
He's
the wizard. He does things with the ball that you expect Brazilians to do. And most of the Brazilians, even the best, the creative players are European creative. They're not Brazilian creative.
Because they crossed the Atlantic Ocean at a very early age.
It is a good point. I think Neymar is really, he grew up in the streets. He has that He has that
flair and ability.
That flair is a bit of a bastard. He can create something.
Chileans are tough. I'm sure they have a game plan for Neymar. I'm not sure it's going to work, but I'm sure they will come and they will really.
Alexis can tell them of a few things they do in the locker room in Barcelona.
I think one or two players will always have to keep an eye on Neymar.
Sure.
And it's going to be interesting.
Neymar is used to it. Neymar, in his days in Santos,
he was always the focal point.
He was hacked down. People, regarded him as the star since an early age.
But, I wouldn't disregard Fridge. I wouldn't disregard Fernandinho, Ramirez. They have other players who can rise up.
Not as good as Neymar.
Not as good as Neymar, but sometimes, they're playing against Chile. Not a lot of stars there. I'm not sure if Vidal is 100% fit. We have Vidal. We have Alexis. We don't have a lot of other stars. Yeah. Brazil, definitely. And until now, we talked about the crowd, the amazing crowd of Chile. But, in the game against Brazil, I don't think they'll be able to bring so many fans inside the stadium.
Yeah. That will be the first game tomorrow. The other round of 16 match tomorrow is also a South American encounter, but no one speaks about football in regards to this game. Something else has taken over the headlines. Rav Savir with a story.
Uruguay and Colombia are set to square off on Saturday in the second match of the day. But instead of focusing on the game itself, the hype and buzz is surrounding Uruguayan striker Luis Suarez after he bit Italian Giorgio Chiellini in the victory that sent the Celeste to the knockout phase. And FIFA responded quickly to the striker's third biting offense.
Luis Suarez is suspended for 9 matches and banned for 4 months from any football-related activity.
Suarez's ban is immediate, and the striker departed Brazil shortly after the announcement was made, leaving the Celeste without their star. Uruguay played their first match of the World Cup without Suarez and lost 3-1 to Costa Rica. Then the loss seemed a fluke, a product of Suarez's absence. But the games go on, and next up Uruguay will face fellow South American Colombia. And Colombian players know this will be a tough game regardless, since Uruguay has a history of adjusting in the World Cup.
The truth is that we know Uruguay and we have seen the recovery they have made in the last World Cup and in this one, when they started with a loss and came back really well in a tough group. We, from now on, as I said in previous question, will start getting ready for Saturday's match, look at the conclusions of our coaches and try to do what we have done in the games so far.
Colombia have also shocked this World Cup, winning all 3 of their matches in the first round without the help of their star Falcao, who is injured. The absence of both teams' main men may make this game all the more interesting.
We're seeing Uruguay becoming almost paranoid with this Suarez thing. The whole world is against us. I think it's a mistake. They should. He's gone. That's a fact. Focus on the game.
True, but also what could happen in the U.S. They have this term, the Ewing theory, dating back to the 1990s when Patrick Ewing would get injured and all the other Knicks would play better and win.
Would pick up.
So we see that in Uruguay's opponent, Colombia, with Radamel Falcao. They're all talking about Falcao. He's not there. All the rest are playing amazing.
But that's what they're doing. They're not focusing on Falcao. They're focusing on the games.
But maybe now also without Suarez, suddenly Cavani will score or someone else. I still think Colombia looks better, but Uruguay has more experience. They're very tough. They can play defensive mind in football. It could be a very close game. It will be a very interesting game.
And I want to ask you, Ariel, in the first match against Costa Rica without Suarez, they did not look good. But they're still capable. They have the talent to do it.
Yeah, and I think there are also a lot of positives in siege mentality. Everyone is against us. They're going to be pumped for this game. Although, really, Colombia have a lot more quality. They're the surprise package of this World Cup. I think alongside the Dutch, they're the most impressive on the counter. They don't need the ball. They play counter-attacking football, and their talented forwards are something special. Who needs Falcao? When you have Rodriguez and Martinez and all these guys.
Who would have believed Colombia would look like this 3 weeks ago when we knew Falcao is not coming? We thought that's the end.
Yeah, and this is the story of the World Cup. Those South American teams, no one expected them to look so good. Yeah. But that's where it's at, that's where the real football is.
And only 2 of them will be out tomorrow.
Yeah, and you need cohesion and not superstars. That's the point. You need
cohesion,
teamwork.
But you need the people like Neymar and Messi and James Rodriguez who can do the personal.
Yeah, and they have that. They have that more than Uruguay. But I do think that without Suarez, they will come like soldiers. They will go like fighters into this match.
two legendary coaches, Pekerman and Tavares. And I think, it's definitely going to be also a tactical matchup.
Absolutely, two great matches coming up tomorrow. Brazil against Chile, Uruguay, Colombia. Uriel Daskal, Yoav Borovich, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
And that's it for us today. It was a great pleasure to have you with us. Thank you for watching. We will be here again on Sunday to summarize both games from Saturday night and look ahead to what comes ahead on Sunday. Have a beautiful day. Thank you for watching.